Well, what a way to start Tuesday nights. Play the thing. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve. I'm your host for today. We're going to be going over the 13th of April edition of NXT. Let's get into it. The show starts off with Karrion Kross coming out. Again, with his entrance, he just looks amazing coming out. He decides he's going to cut a promo. Nothing much to it, really. Just basically recap everything that happened between him and Balor. How he's basically going to dominate NXT. Nothing really much. Would have liked to have seen an opponent thing coming out. It's probably going to be a Pete Dunne, obviously, based on events from Stand and Deliver and from later on in the night, but we'll get into it as we go along. We then get an NXT Takeover recap. Then they do this stupid thing where they like to go on about how it's the most watched Takeover ever. I'm not being funny. When you put on a Wednesday night, when it's their regularly scheduled network programming show, if people haven't got to pay for it, more people are going to watch it. So, of course, it's going to be the most viewed Takeover ever. So, yeah, it's just a stupid little fact that they like to run through the episode. It's just pointless. We then get our first match of the night, and it is the new NXT Tag Team Champions MSK taking on Drake and Killian Dane. This is obviously after they won their #1 contenders match against Breezango last week on the pre-show of Night 2 of Takeover. Very good match. Probably one of the highlighted two matches of the night, really. Drake looks a bit rough to start with, bit sort of botching in areas, but the match ends up turning out fine. The match ends with Drake trying to be powerbombed by Dane onto the Carter, which Wesley is able to pull him out of the way. They manage to then get rid of Killian Dane from the ring when Nash does that insane off the top rope cutter that he does, takes Dane out of the match. They then isolate Drake, manage to hit off their double team finisher with neckbreaker. They pick up the pin to retain the titles. They then leave the arena. At this point, Alexander Wolf enters the ring and confronts Dane. Obviously, they used to be members of Sanity together. They have a little sort of stare down competition, like, what are you doing here kind of thing. This is soon abruptly interrupted by Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner from Imperium. Those two then proceed to beat down on Dane. I don't know where this is leading, but it kind of worries me because after the beatdown, they do their standing pose with their arms behind their back in the ring. They leave the ring, and you've got Bartel and Eichner staring at Wolf because at no point did he actually interact with the attack on Dane. So if they're breaking up Imperium, it's like, what are WWE doing with their booking of factions lately? Like, why are you breaking up another perfectly fine faction? Can't understand it for some reason. But say the match is really good. Go back and check out the match because Nash, Carter, and Wesley, man, MSK are doing some great stuff. We then get Robert Stone backstage. He is on his way to William Regal's office. He is trying to get a NXT Women's Tag Team title match for Aaliyah and Jessica Maya. He's got on some mad Michael Jackson-esque gloves, which later on in the night, Wade Barrett says a good point that apparently they're $25,000 each glove. But yeah, so very exuberant gloves. He's then confronted by Mercedes Martinez, who asks Stone where his money is. At this point, Jessica Maya walks into shot. She basically gets Martinez's face, and it just books a match for later on in the night. We then get a backstage video of earlier on in the day where you had Roderick Strong and his wife, Marina Shafir, entering the CWC. This is leading on to further on the night. We then get a fallout from the Kyle O'Reilly Adam Cole match, when it basically tells like CCTV footage from when they were being taken into hospital, and you've got Adam Cole acting as if like he won the match because he's still threatening Kyle O'Reilly, like telling him he's a dead man and stuff like this. Really weird. I mean, like, yeah, just the way Cole come across, it was as if he never, like, it was as if he never lost the match or it was a draw or something. And this kind of like throws my whole theory of Adam Cole going to main roster out the window, but still, not being funny, Adam Cole's great, and him actually being on NXT is probably a better thing for him. We then get the singles match between Mercedes Martinez and Jessica Maya. This is very short, unfulfilling at all, ends after about 3 minutes with Martinez hitting the white noise on Kamea and getting the pinfall. A bit of continuity error for some reason. Aaliyah, who had been in the backstage segment with Robert Stone earlier, she was in one outfit and then for some reason they changed the ring gear, but at no point gets involved in this match. So yeah, just a strange continuity error going on there. We then get a strange moment after the match with Mercedes Martinez. She finally grabs hold of Stone. She shakes him down and Stone pulls out this wad of cash out the inside of his jacket and Martinez takes it. But she then walks up to the announcer's table and she gets in Vic Joseph's face as if he's a camera, and she's just like shouting in his face, "Oh, Raquel Gonzalez, well done, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be coming for your title." And it was just like, why would you do that to the announcer's face? Not even like Wade Barrett or Beth. It was just purposely she got in Vic Joseph's face. Really, really strange. Like, I don't know why she was doing that, but We'll find out in the future. We then get a backstage interview with The Way, talking about their upcoming eight-person tag match coming up later on the night. Indy Hartwell's doing some fantastic work again with this whole Loomis thing. Johnny's just again bragging on about how it's the first time The Way's going to be in the ring together, blah, blah, blah kind of stuff. Just filler, really nothing major to it. We then come back from commercial break and we have Isaiah Swerve Scott in the recording studio. He's just basically talking about his feud with Leon Ruff and like tonight's going to be the night it ends and stuff like that. The promo itself was very well shot and stuff. It was just pretty pointless. We then get the first major shock of the night. You have Santos Escobar come out. They show an open challenge for his new NXT Cruiserweight Championship, which baffled me because it said on the nameplate across the bottom, new NXT Cruiserweight Champion. I was like, he was already Cruiserweight Champion. He can't be new if he already had it. Very, very weird. He comes out, cuts a promo about his family heritage, about how his father used to be a Cruiserweight Champion. He's now a Cruiserweight Champion, and Harry's son is going to be a Cruiserweight Champion in the future. He issues the open challenge, which is then abruptly interrupted by Kushida of all people. The time splitter come down. Very weird because he didn't have them jeans on that he's been wearing for months now. Like them jeans that he wears, he looks amazing. He's gone back to the orange and white trunks. Yeah, just very, very strange. Like what the change in the look was, I don't know. But yeah, they end up having their match. They're just back and forth on each other. Kushida hits an amazing butterfly suplex off the top rope. The match then ends with Santos Escobar trying to hit the Phantom Driver. Kushida reverses it into a pinfall. Escobar reverses that into a pinfall. And then Kushida reverses it back into a pinfall. And he wins. He wins the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. This was just shocking. I was not expecting this. Like, I was just expecting this to be a filler match. But man, from having sort of a blasé sort of takeover match with Devlin to dropping the title the following week, this is mad. But this opens up a whole new world of possibilities going forward in that cruiserweight division. I look forward to seeing how it pans out. After this match, we then get a Ciampa and Thatcher promo. They're basically saying that they're going to carry on where they left off in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and they're going to go after MSK, and they're going to try and win them NXT Tag Team titles. That should be a good segment going forward. Like, Ciampa's amazing in ring. I imagine you stick the four of them together in a match and it's going to be really, really good. We then come back from commercial break and Regal is in the medical room congratulating Kushida on his victory. So at this point, Jordan Devlin walks into the room and he basically just lays out his intentions to say that he's going to be coming for that NXT Cruiserweight title. Yeah, hopefully it just fares better than the TakeOver match, but say massive, great for Kushida. Look forward to seeing all these guys getting it on again in the future. And just to add to it as well, Jordan Devlin actually mentions the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, which was a bit of a shock because obviously it sort of forbade in WWE to mention anything outside of WWE. So for him to actually say IWGP, that's a big move as well going forward. We then get Dakota Kai in ring. She's introducing your new NXT Women's Champion, Raquel Gonzalez. She gets a great entrance, kind of Goldberg-esque, sparklers and flares and smoke going up. Yeah, she looked really good coming into this. She basically comes down to the ring, cuts a promo on how she's only been in NXT for 14 months since her debut, how Dakota Kai thanks Dakota Kai for helping her, how they became the first ever NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. We then get Frankie Monet come down, obviously previously known as Taya Valkyrie. She comes down with her little Pomeranian dog. She basically says that the women's division is her division and she was going to be taken over from now. Raquel then threatens to shove the dog up Taya Valkyrie's backside, which is always a good segment. Frankie Monet is great in this, like her facial expressions are amazing. She leaves the ring, and then out of nowhere, we get Rhea Ripley's music hit. Crowd pops hard for it. I popped hard for it. She comes down to the ring. She squares up to Raquel. They both crack a smile. They clap title belts together and hug it out. And then right straight after that, Bianca Belair, your new SmackDown Women's Champion, her music kicks in. She comes down. Only slight problem I had with this was the SmackDown title still had Sasha Banks' plates on it. They could have replaced them and put the generic ones back on it, but yeah, she still had Sasha Banks' side plates on. She comes down, all three of them. There's a picture in the background on the screen of all of them, like when they were kind of like 2 years ago or whatever it was, and now all three of them stand tall in the middle of the ring holding up each championship. It's a great moment for fans. I personally think it was a middle finger to Vince, because obviously Vince has never been high on NXT stars, but to have all three stars be champions is a big deal, I think. After that, we get a video promo from Pete Dunne. He basically just makes his intention clear that he now wants to go for the NXT Championship. This is obviously playing back to TakeOver Stand Deliver when he was in the crowd before the Balor Cross match. Yeah, he just wants to go for that title. Should be fun. I like Pete Dunne's stuff. I think those two could put on a pretty good match, and I say, yeah, we'll see what that goes going forward as well. A lot of promos tonight, because we now get another one with William Regal. He basically talks about how happy he is to see Saray joining NXT. Talks about the lineage of obviously bringing in Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, and now that they've brought Sarai in, she'll be making her debut on NXT next week. We then cut to another promo of Regal. This time it's Roderick Strong, and he's handing in his resignation papers for NXT. So what this means, I don't know, whether he's going to take some time off, come back maybe later in a couple of months, or if he's going to the main roster. If he does, please, God, let it be SmackDown. But yeah, just very strange. He's leaving. Don't know what this means for Marina Shafir either. Don't know if she's leaving, because obviously she was in the segment with him. Hopefully it would just be like a surprise comeback later on in NXT a couple of months down the line, because I'm sorry, Roderick Strong will instantly be lost in the mid-card if he joins the main roster. We then get the Leon Ruff Isaiah Swerve Scott match that was announced earlier on in the night. This match had loads of high spots. It was very sloppy in places as well, though. It ends with Swerve picking up the pinfall on Ruff. Not much I can say about it, but go back and watch it for the high spots. They were really good. In two ways, I'm glad it's over, but not happy it's over either, because, say, the two of them, if they can get the chemistry right, these two could knock the house down with the matches. The only problem is it's been going on for a long time now, and there's not really a payoff to either one of them. Like, this match ends and you presume it's over, but later on in the night, there's another segment with Swerve, and he then gets jumped by Ruff. And Ruff's like, it's over when I say it's over. And it's just like, yeah, I'm not being funny, guys. You've been doing this for a while now, and like, we've got no real story beat from it. Like I said, you can put on a really good match, but I'm honestly, I'm bored of seeing the rivalry. So let's leads to something, but yeah, I'm just done with this one. We then get newcomer Zoe Stark getting interviewed backstage. She basically talks about how she was training in Vegas and all this stuff a couple of months ago, whenever it was. She then makes her intentions clear that she also wants to go for the NXT Women's Championship. She's confronted by Mercedes Martinez, who obviously has already said that she's going to be going for that championship. She basically challenges her, and I presume next week we're going to get Zoe Stark versus Mercedes Martinez. That should be a good match. Hopefully Zoe Stark can carry on her winning ways with that one. We then get a Walter package, basically recapping his match with Ciampa. He's stating that he's staying in NXT, so I don't know what that means for the UK Championship. He basically declared that Imperium will be staying in NXT, blah, 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 like staying this side of the water. So hopefully, we get more water in NXT, which is going to be fantastic. Whether it leads to Water losing that UK Championship somewhere in the near future, maybe if there's a takeover plan for UK, I don't know, but yeah, really excited about this. Really excited to see where Walter's going to go. Him and Cross in a match for that takeover for that NXT Championship, that'd be fantastic. We then head on to your main event, and my God, there was too much action to call in this. It is The Way, which is Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, Austin Theory, Johnny Gargano versus a team of Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed, Shotzi Blackheart, and Ember Moon. And this was too quick to call in some spots, and the Romeo and Juliet love story that's going on between Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis, my God, this paid off tonight. You've basically got the four in the ring. The Way then come down, and Johnny and obviously Austin do their no-look high five, and Indy steps under him, but she moves to the side. Dexter's on, and Candice pulls away. This is great plan out for the rest of the show. But the match gets started. A lot of mixed wrestling here. Like, so obviously a lot of the guys doing moves on the women. I think the only move that was done was Reed picked up Shotzi and threw her outside the ring to land later on onto a crowd of people. But otherwise, you had Candice LeRae. She's trying to suplex Bronson Reed off the top rope. Mad stuff, man. How she thinks she can do it, I don't know. But that basically ties into the finish of the match, but I'll get into that in a second. Indy Hartwell, yeah. At one point, Dexter Lumis has got Johnny in the silence. Indy comes in the ring, but she doesn't want to kick Lumis to break the submission. So she decides to just play dead on the floor and goes Sleeping Beauty on him. And Dexter turns around and he looks at Indy, and she's like laying on the mat. He lets go Johnny, crawls over to Indy. Indy then puckers up for a kiss, but Austin Theory comes in and kicks Dexter in the back of the head. So then Indy at this point is devastated. She then gets up and she does something. I think she kicks Austin. I was too busy crying with laughter at this point. She kicks Theory and knocks him out the ring. At this point, Dexter's ended up on the outside of the ring. Indy then runs back over, does the same thing again, does her Sleeping Beauty pose on the mat. Dexter picks her up, carries her out, and as she's walking up the ramp, the camera's panned on Dexter's back, and she looks back into the camera and sticks her thumb up, and she then pretends to play dead again. Oh, man. It was funny stuff, man. I was loving it. The match then ends. You get Ember Moon hit an eclipse off of Bronson Reed's shoulders to Austin Theory. Theory's then down. Theory then gets triple teamed here. He basically, Bronson Reed's on the top rope. Johnny Gargano tries to take Reed out. Reed reverses it, throws Johnny off of the turnbuckle into Austin, who's out on the mat. This is where Candice then tries to suplex Reed off the top rope. Same thing again. Shotzi then, but this time grabs Candice, gets her on her shoulders, drops her onto Theory. And then Bronson gets up on the top rope, hits Theory with the tsunami, and they pick up the pinfall. They win the match, and then at the end you've got Shotzi, Ember, and Bronson in the ring celebrating, and you've got the Way just standing on the ramp like completely in shock and awe, don't know where Indy's gone and everything. This was entertaining as anything. This was the match of the night. Go back and watch this because this is fantastic. I say the Romeo and Juliet storyline between Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis, I'm all for it, man. I can watch this all day. And that's it. That's the review for NXT, the fallout from Stand and Deliver. Thanks for checking out the show. If you enjoyed, give me a like. If you also like to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe. Give us a comment down below on what you thought of the NXT fallout from Stand and Deliver. And I'll catch you in the next one.